When the Black Death ravages the people of the 14th century, the only effective treatment seems to be a miracle. Now, antibiotics can cure bubonic plague, if the case is identified early enough.
Tracing contacts, looking for whoever might have been in contact with this person might have been exposed. And then quite often these people get prophylactic antibiotics to make sure the disease doesn't spread.
Yersinia pestis, the microbe that causes bubonic plague, is well known and understood. What worries disease watchers are the unknown microscopic killers. Diseases poised to emerge and spread through modern populations.
Things entering in the food chain, things changing hosts that you never dreamed would change hosts, things appearing in unlikely areas.
AIDS, SARS, valley fever, avian flu, and Lyme disease all appear in modern populations simply because things change. Microbes are given an opportunity and they take it.
Lyme disease really was let loose because suburban forests in the Northeast were being cleared for suburban sprawl. So it's the same phenomenon. I mean, we're doing that today. We don't know what agents we're going to let loose.
What if Ebola virus established a new home on the east coast of the United States? That could be pretty awful. It's untreatable. It's unfortunately spread from patient to caretakers. It's the family taking care of and the doctors, the nurses that come down with that disease. And it's a very frightening disease in that respect.
In medieval times, the Black Death comes from a remote area and then spreads along trade routes to the entire civilized world with startling speed. Microbes traveling now can go much further and far faster.
When you think of the 24-hour period of travel, you realize that any virus in the world, anywhere, can be right here in this living room within one incubation period. It doesn't have to transmit to anybody, it doesn't have to go through a flea, it doesn't have to do anything.
Looking at the plague, there are a couple of things that jump out that parallel our situation. You have the notion of an expanding economy, new trade routes.
You guys have 500 million people every year cross international borders on international airline flights. 500 million a year. 70 million work outside their own country. I mean, the numbers are just staggering of the amount of movement, the speed of that movement, and the density of the humans. Put that together, it's just seven.
Hampered by religion and superstition, medieval scientists like Guy de Chauliac are hopelessly unprepared for the Black Death. Many experts fear that when confronted with a catastrophic epidemic, modern science will be equally surprised.
You took something like the plague of the 14th century, where people are dying in their homes, in the streets, and all over the place. I'm not sure we'd handle it. I hope we'd handle it better, but I'm not sure we'd handle it terribly much better than the people of the medieval period did. We don't have a lot of redundancy in the system. We don't have surge capacity, as they call it. If something goes wrong, you know, the capacity's not there to really handle it.
There's absolutely no way that organised health systems could cope with an epidemic of the proportions of the Black Plague.
In the end, history can only tell us what has come before. Terror and violence, heroism and self-sacrifice, restoration and renewal. These are the legacies of the Black Death.
The plague is a kind of mirror in which we can actually see how a society coped with a clear medical human disaster.
When that mirror is held up to our own times, the vision is cloudy and troubling. For man's ultimate enemy is still out there somewhere, no less deadly than it was 650 years ago.